Most gardeners spend a huge amount of time thinking about watering, spacing, pruning, sunlight, compost, fertilizers, all the visible parts of growing food. But almost nobody talks about minerals, and that's strange, because a vegetable can only be as nutritious as the soil it grows in. The reality is that many garden soils, even those that appear dark, rich, and full of life, are quietly losing essential minerals year after year. This process is known as soil depletion, and it can have serious consequences for plant health and productivity. Every season, minerals are removed from the soil in several ways. When we harvest vegetables, pull weeds, or clear away fallen leaves and plant debris, we're actually taking nutrients out of the ecosystem. Rain and irrigation can also wash away valuable minerals through runoff and erosion, especially in gardens with poor soil structure or on slopes. Over time, this gradual loss leads to deficiencies in key nutrients like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. The long-term effects? Plants may become stunted, more vulnerable to pests and diseases, and produce smaller, less flavorful harvests. Real-world examples are everywhere. Abandoned farm fields with poor yields, or backyard gardens where crops just don't thrive like they used to. For gardeners, understanding soil depletion is crucial. It's the first step toward rebuilding healthy, resilient soil and ensuring abundant harvests for years to come. When essential minerals are not intentionally replaced, the soil doesn't just lose nutrients, it begins to lose life itself. Over time, the soil becomes less biologically rich year after year. The vibrant community of microbes, fungi, and earthworms that once thrived beneath the surface starts to dwindle. Without these microscopic allies, soil fertility drops. Microbes break down organic matter, release nutrients, and help plants absorb what they need. When their numbers fall, plants struggle to access minerals, even if some are still present. That's why many gardeners notice subtle changes at first. The plants still grow, and the harvest still looks decent, but yields may slowly decline, and vegetables may be smaller or less vibrant. The flavor isn't quite as rich or complex. Nutrient-poor soil leads to bland produce, lacking the depth and sweetness gardeners remember. Leaves lose their deep green color, and plants may show signs of nutrient deficiencies, yellowing, stunted growth, or weak stems. The plants become more vulnerable to heat, drought, pests, and disease. Without a thriving soil ecosystem, their natural defenses are weakened. The garden still functions, but it no longer thrives. The good news? Solutions exist. Replenishing minerals with volcanic rock dust, adding organic matter like compost, and encouraging microbial life can restore soil health. With care and attention, your garden can return to its full, thriving potential. And this is where volcanic rock dust becomes incredibly interesting. Because unlike, conventional fertilizers that focus mostly on nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, volcanic rock dust is about restoring mineral diversity back into the soil itself. And over the last few years, it has quietly become one of the most talked about soil amendments among gardeners focused on nutrient density and long-term soil health. Volcanic rock dust, often sold as basalt rock dust or glacial rock dust depending on the source, is exactly what it sounds like: finely ground volcanic stone. When volcanoes erupt, they bring mineral-rich material from deep within the earth up to the surface. Over centuries and thousands of years, those volcanic deposits weather down into some of the most fertile agricultural soils on the planet. That's why volcanic regions around the world are often famous for agriculture. The slopes of Mount Etna in Sicily, parts of Indonesia, regions of Hawaii. Volcanic soils tend to support incredibly vigorous plant growth because they contain an enormous diversity of trace minerals. Using rock dust in the garden is basically an attempt to mimic that natural process in a controlled way. Instead of waiting hundreds of years for rocks to slowly weather into soil, the material is already finely ground and ready to integrate into the garden ecosystem. And what makes this especially important is that modern agriculture has stripped enormous quantities of minerals from soil worldwide. Every harvest removes nutrients. Large-scale farming accelerates that process dramatically. And, many fertilizers replace only the most basic macronutrients needed for fast plant growth. But plants require much more than just nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They also depend on dozens of trace minerals for enzyme activity, chlorophyll production, root development, nutrient transport, stress resistance, and honestly, countless biological functions happening inside the plant. Things like calcium, magnesium, iron, manganese, boron, zinc, silica, copper, molybdenum, minerals most gardeners rarely think about individually. And when those minerals are missing, plants can still survive. But survival and thriving are very different things. That's why, many gardeners experimenting with remineralization report subtle but meaningful improvements over time. Tomatoes develop deeper flavor, leafy greens appear darker and more robust, root crops become denser and store longer after harvest, plants often seem more resilient during heat waves or periods of inconsistent watering. And one of the most interesting observations is that healthy mineralized soil often appears biologically more active overall. Earthworms increase, soil texture improves, organic matter breaks down more efficiently. Because minerals don't just feed plants, they support the entire underground ecosystem. And that's an important distinction. Healthy soil is not just dirt holding roots in place. It's an incredibly complex living system filled with bacteria, fungi, nematodes, protozoa, insects, and microbial networks constantly exchanging nutrients with plant roots. When trace minerals are present, those biological systems tend to function more effectively. Which is why volcanic rock dust works best as part of a broader soil-building strategy, not as some miracle product. In fact, one of the biggest misconceptions people have is expecting instant visible results after applying rock dust once. That's usually not how it works. Rock dust is slow, and that's actually one of its greatest strengths. Unlike synthetic fertilizers that create rapid spikes of growth, volcanic minerals are gradually broken down by microbial activity, moisture, root exudates, and time. The process is cumulative. The soil improves season after season. And gardening at its best has always been a long-term relationship with the land. One of the easiest ways to begin using volcanic rock dust is simply incorporating it into new garden beds before planting. A common recommendation is roughly 10 to 20 pounds per 100 square feet mixed into the top layer of soil. For existing beds, many gardeners simply top-dress smaller amounts once or twice a season and let rainfall, worms, and soil biology slowly work the material downward. Container gardeners often mix smaller amounts directly into potting soil as well, especially for tomatoes, peppers, squash, and heavy-feeding crops. Some gardeners also make a mineral tea by steeping rock dust in water overnight and applying it around the root zone early in the growing season. And while there are many good products available, one popular option is plantonix basalt rock dust because of its very fine grind size. That matters more than many people realize. The finer the particles, the greater the surface area available for microbial breakdown and mineral availability over time. So finer dust generally integrates into the soil ecosystem more efficiently than coarse material. There'll be a link below for anyone interested in looking at it further. But honestly, the important part is less about the specific brand and more about consistency over multiple growing seasons. Because, soil remineralization is a slow building process, and volcanic minerals work especially well when combined with organic matter. This is where compost becomes incredibly important. Compost provides microbial life, organic carbon moisture retention, and nutrient cycling. Rock dust provides the mineral diversity that compost alone may not fully replace. Together, they create a far more balanced soil ecosystem than either one alone. And, many experienced gardeners take that combination one step further by pairing rock dust with worm castings during transplanting. Worm castings are essentially biologically concentrated compost processed through earthworms. They contain microbial populations, plant-available nutrients, humic substances, and compounds that help stimulate root development. When combined with volcanic minerals, the result is a very biologically active root zone. That's one reason this combination is especially popular for seedlings and transplants. The microbial activity from the castings helps jumpstart life around the roots, while the minerals remain available long-term as plants establish themselves. One of the more widely used products in this category is Wiggle Worm Soil Builder. It's a pure worm casting product many gardeners use for transplanting, raised beds, container mixes, and seed starting because of its consistency and microbial richness. That'll also be linked below for anyone wanting to experiment with combining castings and remineralization together. And this broader idea of rebuilding soil minerals actually has a name: remineralization. There's an entire movement centered around the idea that modern soils have gradually lost much of their original mineral complexity through intensive agriculture. Well, research going back decades has shown declines in the mineral density of many common vegetables. And while there's debate around exactly how significant those declines are, most soil scientists agree on one thing. Modern agricultural systems prioritize yield and speed far more than long-term soil-mineral balance. That's especially true in industrial agriculture, where synthetic fertilizers are often designed primarily around rapid growth and predictable production. But plants are far more biologically complex than just NPK. And honestly, soil is far more biologically complex than simply a growing medium. Healthy soil is an ecosystem. That's why gardeners focused on nutrient density tend to approach gardening differently. Instead of asking, how do I force faster growth? The question becomes, how do I build healthier soil year after year? And really, that mindset changes everything. Because once soil becomes the focus, gardening stops being about short-term feeding and starts becoming about long-term ecosystem building. That often means, more compost, more mulch, less tilling, more microbial diversity, more mineral diversity, and fewer dramatic inputs trying to constantly fix problems after they appear. One of the interesting things many gardeners notice after several seasons of soil building is that gardens often become more stable overall. Plants handle stress better, water retention improves, disease pressure decreases, the soil becomes darker, looser, and easier to work. Earthworms increase. And the garden begins functioning more like a natural ecosystem instead of a constantly managed production system. That transformation usually doesn't happen because of a single amendment. It happens because multiple small practices begin reinforcing each other over time. Rock dust is simply one tool within that larger process, and one reason it appeals to so many gardeners is because it's remarkably low maintenance. There's no complicated feeding schedule, no precise timing, no aggressive chemical reaction. It simply adds long-term mineral diversity back into the soil and allows biological systems to gradually do the rest. And unlike many trendy garden products, volcanic rock dust has geological timescales behind it. Some of the most fertile soils humans have ever farmed were naturally created through volcanic mineral deposition over centuries. Gardeners are simply borrowing from that process in a smaller, more intentional way. Now, does this mean rock dust is magic? No. Poor watering habits, compacted soil, lack of sunlight, weak genetics, or bad drainage can still create unhealthy plants regardless of mineral levels. But when the basics are already in place, remineralization can become one of those subtle improvements that compounds over time. And gardening is full of compounding effects. A little more organic matter, a little more microbial activity, a little more mineral diversity. Season after season, those small improvements begin stacking together. That's why many gardeners who experiment with remineralization tend to stick with it long term. not because of dramatic overnight transformations, but because the garden slowly becomes healthier, more resilient, and more productive in a very steady, observable way. If volcanic rock dust is completely new to you, the best approach is probably simple experimentation. Try it in one bed, compare it against another bed over an entire growing season. Pay attention to flavor, color, vigor, resilience during heat, and overall plant health. Because some of the biggest differences gardeners report are things that don't always show up immediately in measurements or charts. Sometimes the difference is simply that the garden feels more alive. Links for everything mentioned are down below, including the basalt rock dust and worm castings discussed earlier. And if this video was useful, subscribe for more videos on building healthier soil, growing nutrient-dense food, and creating gardens that improve year after year.